Good morning, rinpoche la.
Good morning. Good morning. Video is clear?
Yeah, everything clear, rinpoche la.
Okay. Sangye chedan zoge jonam la janjo bardo dane gyabzo je nage jezo gebe zonam ge dola benjere sangye dro bara sho sangye cheda zoge jonam la janjo bardo dane gyabzo je dage jezo gebe zonam ge dola benjere sangye dro bara sho sangye Jeda zagi janam la janjo pardo dani gyabso je dagi jenso
Sao lại các thầy đầu tụng nhỉ?
jola benjire sangye jubara e sho no je begi jo je me don Dhamma ji rabba le shi Nyen de Bondim Sangye Shinto Mide Bewai Joy Gui Namo Dai Shin Je bara jo ye damon guru rana menda kamni yanda ya me. Um, so last week we stopped at verse number 27. Mhm. Verse number 27 is where we stopped. In order that you see the absolute, get used to truly understanding things. No other practice is there such as this, possessed of special virtues such as these. Uh, uh, um, so it's referring to the qualities that has been mentioned right before this verse, this particular verse. That by seeing the absolute truth meaning everything that is an appearance, all things have an appearance and a reality. Um, everybody has a sort of a two sort of faces. Normally we say, okay, someone has two faces, that's considered bad. But the truth is, everybody has two faces. Very few people, like someone who is realized master. Other than that, most people have two faces. And so therefore, people have two faces, phenomena, things, everything has an appearance and a reality. So there is something that is appearance, and that is the thing that is underlying the reality. So by understanding understanding the reality, one will be able to uh, the by getting used to understanding the reality, by understanding the real thing, this is the best practice, and no other practice is there such as this, possessed of special virtues such as these. Verse number 27. So here it's talking about seeing the reality of phenomena is of utmost importance. Once you see the reality of things, then you will be able to utilize it for the uh, for the maximum purpose that it is supposed to be. So, as I said, it is particularly referring to the previous verses where it talks about the beauty of a young girl, or it's mentioned young girl in this case because the the target audience is a young king. That's why. So, had it been the student has been a girl or a princess, it would be talking about a young boy's the flows of a young boy's skin, body, etc. And verse number 25, 24, it talks about a real enemy, right? even though someone kills a lot of external enemy, it's considered a hero, but a real hero is someone who conquers one's own negative emotion. And so like that, there is a reference to so many things that we usually regard as good, beautiful, handsome, nice, hero. But in reality, they are not the real hero, not the real beauty, not the real handsome, not the real fruit that you should be running after. Because in reality, all these things, there is an underlying truth beneath what you see, what appears to you. So therefore, if you understand what is beneath the surface, then you will no longer suffer. If you don't understand what is beneath the cover up, the packaging, and if you don't understand what is inside the packaging, and then just run for something because the packaging, the cover, the surface, the appearance looks nice, then you will be in big danger. You will fall very badly. You will fall very badly. You will hurt yourself. So therefore, you should be careful to understand not just the appearance, the external things you see all the time, but it's important also to understand the underlying the truth as well. For one example would be like someone who has never been to an icy sort of a lake, right? You don't know it is a lake. But if you are a regular, if you are a local in a certain place, then you know this is an icy lake, and you will not go over that lake, especially when it's close to summer, because that lake, even though there is an icing on the top, there is it's frozen on the top, but underneath it's not very thick, so you might fall down that pit, and then you fall in the icy cold lake and drown there. If you are not aware of the fact that this is an icy ice lake, then you may walk over that, and then when you get to the very center of the lake, because of your weight heaviness, the lake will start shattering, and then you will fall down and drown. So this is just one example. If you understand this lake, this ice, the surface which looks hardened, is not really that hard. It's actually made up of ice. Then you will not walk over that ice lake. But if you are not aware of that, especially in the nighttime, you thought this is a meadow, it's a wide plain land, and then you just walk over that. Then once you get to the middle of that ice lake, you fall down and you bring your own destruction. Yeah. So therefore, understanding the reality beneath the appearance is of utmost importance. And there is no other virtue that is more important and more superior than understanding the reality of all entities, all phenomena. The next line is about what determines a person worthy of respect. So someone is not worthy of respect just because he or she is born of a higher birth, because you are born to a noble family, royal family, or this or that. Just because of that, you do not deserve respect. Just because you are rich, you do not deserve respect. Just because you are very highly educated also do not mean you deserve respect. Respect in the sense of, let's call it reverence instead of respect, okay? Because in today's time, everybody deserves respect, right? So let's call it reverence, not respect. So someone is worthy of reverence, not because he was born of a higher rebirth, not because he or she was high education, not because he or she looks handsome or beautiful, etc. But if that person has all of that, good rebirth, handsome, beautiful features, rich, educated, everything, but is lacking in two things. What that is the wisdom, one, and then character, integrity. So someone is lacking in character and wisdom, then that person is not worthy of reverence. So that is the main point of the next verse that we are going to read. Let me read it in Tibetan. Kebu risu tuadang denam de sherab sutim tewa kurmangla tede kangla yunden dinyi de dene yunden sherdang teyang chö. Yeah. So I will read the verse in English 28. To those possessed of breeding, learning, handsome looks, who have no wisdom, neither discipline, you need not bow. But those who do have these two qualities, though lacking other virtues, you should revere. So, if someone has all the other qualities, like handsome, rich, and hybrid, all these things, but if you're lacking in character, which it means by then wisdom, right? If you lacking in wisdom and integrity in characteristics, character, then you're not worthy of reverence. You do not need to bow down to that person, because that person, let's say someone is born of a higher noble birth, like a royal person, but then that person behaves very rudely, right? Just because he or she was born of a royal birth, royal bloodline, then he looks down, treats everybody badly, and to treat everybody, especially of someone who has a lower status than them, as filth, disrespect them. If such a person disrespect you, and also people who are educated with very high degrees, and just because they have a degree, but then they disrespect other people, they don't deserve your respect. So basically, Nagarjuna is telling the king, if you meet someone who is of a noble birth, like another prince or a princess, if you meet someone, a girl who is very beautiful, or a gentleman who is very handsome, don't bow down to them just because they are of noble birth and are educated or rich, and etc. If they are lacking in wisdom, so wisdom means the ability to decide what is right and what is wrong. That is wisdom, okay? Not just education. Then the ability to decide what's wrong and what's right, and the discipline, right? Self-discipline, that is character. If he is lacking in character, if he is lacking in wisdom, then don't respect him. Don't befriend them. Don't befriend with them, because they will bring you down. Now, next verse is very important. This is something that we recite. We memorize that verse and recite them, and try to inculcate these wisdoms or this instruction in our day-to-day life as much as we can. Okay. So let me read this in Tibetan first, because it's something that we usually memorize. Jigden kemba nyeda ma nyeta, deda me de nyenda me nyeta. Dume jigi jigden chwe gebo, dagi yiyu mimbar gonyam zus. Now, English. You who know the world, take gain and loss, or bliss and pain, or kind words and abuse, or praise and blame. These eight mundane concerns, make them the same, and don't disturb your mind. So this is the telling. This is usually, we call that the eight worldly concerns. So here it's translated as eight mundane concerns. So eight worldly concerns, or eight mundane concerns, or sometimes it's called the eight worldly dharmas too. Eight worldly dharmas, eight worldly principles, etc., etc. So it's very simple that we are all subject to this thing. Basically, gain and loss. You find something, you lose something, gain and loss. Then pain and joy, or comfort and discomfort, comfortable, uncomfortable, discomfort. Then praise and criticism. Someone says nice to you, or someone says bad about you, or something good. You hear something nice, or you hear something bad. Something good to hear, something bad to hear, right? Like kind words and abuse. Then similar to that one, but more personal, praise and blame. Someone says good things about you, or someone says bad things about you, criticism and praise. So these are the eight worldly qualities, or eight worldly dharma, or eight mundane concerns. So as long as you are concerned about these 8 things, what people say about me, good thing, what people say about me, bad things, are they going to blame me? Are they going to credit me, discredit me? Is this comfortable for me? Is this uncomfortable for me? Do I get something, right? Gain. Am I getting something by doing this or saying this thing? Am I losing something by doing this or saying this thing? As long as you are concerned within these 8 items or 8 objects or 8 concerns, then you will never come out of samsara. Not only samsara, you will be totally stuck in this world, this worldly thing. You will no matter what you do, you are still a very ordinary, selfish person as long as you are stuck in that 8 worldly concern. Maybe I need to go back to the actual verse so to make people understand. I don't know how it runs in Vietnamese, but in English, it doesn't run as properly as it should. So the first line, it says, you who know the world, right? So you who know the world is a reference to the Buddha, okay? So it's not a reference to the king, okay? So it does not, because you might think because this is written to the king, so you will think that you who know the world is a reference to the king. No, you who know the world is a reference to the Buddha, because the Buddha, everything is uh, like a globe in the hand, in one's palm for the Buddha. So Buddha, if you put an example of what the Buddha's wisdom is like, then it's like everything is in his the palm of his hand. So Buddha, the one who knows the world, is one of the synonyms, okay, one of the names for the Buddha. So it is saying, the first line, you who know the world, means the Buddha. So the Buddha understand, or the Buddha sees gain and loss, bliss and pain, kind words and abuse, praise and blame, which is called the 8 mundane concerns, as same. They see them as same. Even though for us it's not same. When we feel pain, we don't want. I mean, when we feel pain, we feel terrible. We want to get rid of that. When we are subjected to pain, we want to get rid of that. When we are subjected to bliss, we want more of it. The more joy, we want more and more, right? We are not able to see them as same, on the same level. But the Buddha can see all these 8 worldly concerns. So basically, 8 worldly concern means there's only 4 of them. 4 are positive and 4 are negative. So because of that, there is 8. So for the Buddha, those 4 positive and the 4 negatives are seen as equal. Either of them will bring misfortune if you have too much of them. Either of them will, bring good things if there's too much of that. So therefore, the Buddha sees them as same. So the first line, you who know the world, is not a reference, is not talking to the king, but it's talking about the Buddha. So what Nagarjuna is saying is that Buddha sees the 8 worldly concerns as Buddha is actually leveling, seeing those things as same, good, bad, joy, pain. Buddha sees all of them on the same level. He doesn't care about bad things. He doesn't care about good things. He is not worried about bad things. Everything is in the same light or same flavor, like a food, a flavor. Buddha can see all of them, can taste all of them in the same flavor. And
Yeah.
if you learn to see them, taste them in the same flavor, then you will also not suffer in the long run in this world too. Okay. So in this idea, basically it's talking about being resilient and self-discipline. So the main thing is, this is something very useful in today's time, especially today's time, because a lot of time we are so easy to get triggered by so many things, because we live in a very instantaneous world. Everything that happens in another part of the world, what is happening in the West, it's available to us. What is happening in the East, it's also available to the West. And most of the time, what we see in the news is all the negative news, negative thing, because no news sells better than negative news. So every time we watch the news, everything is so negative, all the bad things. The world's gonna end, something is gonna happen financially, politically, this and that. Everything is gonna destroy. And then everybody is a keyboard warrior. Keyboard warrior means you write whatever you want on the keyboard computer. So you may not have the guts, the courage to fight in an actual war, but you are very brave to fight on the internet, on the social media, whatever. Keyboards warriors, and then everybody writes so many nasty things, so many these things. Whether you read newspaper, social media, whatever, you see so many negative things, and then it's so easy for us to get triggered, and we all already underlying our emotion. We have underlying emotions of something. Some things we like, some things we don't like. That is very natural. There are about 40 something people, 45, 48 people in this group, right? And all of us have different likes and dislikes. Even though we are listening to the same Dharma talk, we have different dislike and different preferences. So once get that dislike thing, once the thing that I am not agree with get triggered, then so many things come out. Like so remember back to the 8 worldly concerns, that abuse is something that you don't want to hear, something that is unpleasant for your ear, something that is unpleasant for your taste, something that is makes you feel uncomfortable. All these things triggers you so easily. What happens then is you react, and with that react, whatever problem is going on in this world, it makes it much worse, because there is a situation happening in a certain part of the world. Let's say 40,000 people were involved. It's a big issue. Now, all the social media, the keyboard warrior, everybody jumps in, they type, they do sort of this thing. Then that issue of 40,000 people becomes an issue of 40 million people, because everybody jumps in and do whatever they want to do. So, therefore, uh, learning self-discipline, keeping the 8 worldly concern, practicing the 8 worldly concern will make sure that you don't jump on every occasion. You are reserved. So there's a word in English called stoic. It came from the Greek about long time back. I don't know, thousands of years ago. So Stoicism, like there are great generals by the name of Marcus Aurelius and all these things. So they also talk about this thing, this idea called Stoicism. Stoic is basically to be reserved in times of turmoil. So it's natural for us human beings, because unless we become very highly realized masters, it's very natural for us to be happy and unhappy due to certain circumstances, external circumstances, where when you hear a bad news about something happening to around you, to your loved one, near one, or something good thing you hear. So when you hear something good, you are excited and happy. When you hear something bad, you're also excited, jumpy, and then get sad. All these things are very natural. It's bound to happen, but then it's always important to think about the 8 worldly concerns, and to remind ourselves that this is not something that we should think of as a we should. It is our duty as a practitioner to try to curb these 8 8 worldly concerns, 8 mundane concerns, to curb them, to reduce them. So the main thing is whether good. So basically, there's only 2 things, right? Even though we call it eight worldly concerns, there's only 2 things: good and bad. You want more good, you want less bad. That is the gist of it. That is. So when something good happens, what we want more of it. When something bad happens, what we want it to be gone immediately, today, right now, right? When something good happens, we want it more, the whole day, the whole year, the whole week, right? So the thing is, But that is not going to happen. Reality is that good things and bad things, everything is subject to degradation. Basically, it's impermanent. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is forever, eternal. If you have good thing, enjoy it, but don't get stuck with it, because good thing is not going to last forever. It's going to go. So just enjoy it, then let it go. Something bad happens, also don't be too worried, because this bad thing is not gonna stay forever. If something very bad is happening, it's going to change, because when the worst thing happens to you, there is nothing more worse than that. So the only way for it to go is upwards. So it's like a clock. It goes when it go up to 12 o'clock. You don't be too happy, because now you have to go from 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. go down. When you're at 6 p.m., the lowest, don't be too sad, because now you're going up 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. up to like. So basically, when it's too good, don't be too excited. It's good, okay, good, take it, good. When it's too bad, okay, bad, just take it. That way, you stay in the middle. And then whatever happens in your life, good things do not deter you. Bad things do not disturb you. And you are able to march forward, go forward, like that. Thank you. That was a long one. Thank you so much. Okay. And it's also very important too. Okay. Now we jump to the next verse, okay? This one is 그게 잠세 gelong 하다니 된당 예용 타다 주모당 홀길래도야 디과 미기데 예웬나민 깔뇌 가마치스. So perform no evil even for the sake of Brahmins, bhikshus, gods, or honored guests, your father, mother, queen, or for your court. The ripened fruit inhales for you alone. So we have to come back to the context. Even though Buddhism was quite prevalent at that time, very popular at that time in India, but at the same time, the dominating sort of the dominant religion, if you like, is still that of the Hinduism, or let's call it the Brahmanical lineage. Okay, so therefore, Brahmins are still very highly revered at that time. Okay, even Nagarjuna himself is born of a Brahmin family, and so Buddha, Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, challenged the Brahmanical order. Usually we call it, he challenged the Hindu system, this and that. But within Hinduism, there is many tradition. The most dominant one, or the powerful one, is that of the Brahmanical sort of a structure, Brahmins. So therefore, that the way they devise the structure, the way they sort of invent the structure, is very clever. Okay. For a lack of better word, let's use the term clever, very clever. So the way it was used. So therefore, the Brahmanical system is very strong. And so therefore, even though the king, very few kings are Buddhist kings, okay? Even during Buddha's time, his neighboring kingdom, the kings that are closest to the Buddha, like King Subodhana or his father, and some of the only few kings were Buddhist. Majority of the kings in India were not Buddhist. And of course, after Buddha passed away, there are so many kings who are non-Buddhist. But they do have a likening, they do have a close sort of relation with Buddhist master, etc. So King Gautamaputra has a very close relationship with a Buddhist master called Nagarjuna. But by and large, his kingdom is a Hindu kingdom. And his kingdom reveres Brahmins very highly. So therefore, the first person mentioned is not a bhikshu, not a monk, but a Brahmin, because Brahmins are considered very highly. So Nagarjuna started by saying, whether it's a Brahmin, it's a bhikshu, or who, blah, 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 your father, your mother, your queen, your wife, whatever, if they are telling you to do something negative, don't do it. Because if you do a negative thing, the only person who is going to suffer is you. Your teacher will not suffer for you. Your Brahmin, your priest will not suffer for you. Your teacher, the bhikshu, the monk will not suffer for you. Your father will not suffer. Your mother will not suffer. Your wife will not suffer for you. You do a bad thing, you will suffer. You do a good thing, you will enjoy. Nobody else can suffer for you. Nobody else can enjoy for you. So therefore, no matter who says it, Brahmin, bhikshu, wife, husband, don't listen to anyone if it is not a righteous thing. If it is the righteous thing to do, no matter who say it, just do it. A lot of people, especially, think that India is a Buddhist country, and many people, and there's a reason why, because the leaders of the country, the nation, when they go to the for global summits meeting, they always talk about, they always say that I come from the land of Buddha. So they never say I come from land of Shiva or Vishnu, because that is not widely known in the world. But when you say I come from the land of Buddha, everybody is aware, familiar with that word, because Buddha is to do with peace, Buddha is to do with non-violence, Buddha is to do with compassion, Buddha is related to all these nice things. So therefore, they always say I come from the land of Buddha. And therefore, outsiders usually have that misconception that India is a Buddhist country, that India is a country of Buddhist, for the Buddhist, which is not necessarily true. And actually, there's only one country that you can say that is a Buddhist country in the world. One or two countries. Sri Lanka is one Buddhist country, and maybe Thailand, maybe Myanmar, one or two. Very few. No other countries can be considered as a Buddhist country. Anyway, so that is a sort of we're going far from what we are going to decide. What we are. So the thing is this. Basically, you will have to suffer your own karmic consequences. Whether you will have to go through your karmic consequences. You will suffer if you do bad thing. You will enjoy if you do good thing. And so the next verse talks about, even though the karma, whether good work or bad work, does not the benefit or the consequence, right, does not reap right away immediately, like cutting yourself with a knife. If you cut yourself with a knife, if you slice yourself with a knife, it will cut right away, and you will feel the pain. Karma is not like that. If you do something bad, right now you may not feel it, but eventually you will feel it, especially after your death. You will have to go through it. You will suffer it, or you will enjoy it. One thing is that I think it's all over the world. Kings usually have their advisors. So some of them are religious advisors. So they're called the high priest, right? And so it's the same in the West, in the Western countries. In the East too, the kings have their spiritual master advisors, political advisors, spiritual, religious advisor, etc. So because people are connected to religion, and you don't want to offend the people, and so therefore there are religious advisor who tell the king to do the right things, so that people will not revolt against the king, the king or the kingdom, etc. So therefore, the Brahmins are usually the high priest of a king in India are usually a Brahmin. So therefore, the Brahmin may say something may tell you to do something like, okay, in order for you to have a long life, you need to slaughter, right? Kill 10,000 buffaloes or goat. But by doing that, you will have to go through the suffering. Just because he tells you to do, you have to think carefully whether it's right for you to do or not. So just one example like that. So anyway, that is the conclusion of that verse, that previous verse. Now I will read the next verse. I already explained it, but I will read it. Digbe lenam cheba gaya ni the melo chunjin mi jo chan chiwe tu la pamna digbe yi legi debu kangla ngombar gyurus. although performing wrong and evil deeds does not at once, like swords, create a gash. When death arrives, those evil acts will show, their karmic fruit will clearly be revealed. Yeah. Now, next verse is,
Last one.
yeah, okay. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sure. So the next verse is about the qualities that one should adopt. So there's something called the seven riches or seven wealth. Um, uh, so the seven wealth or seven riches is not like this: faith, ethics, or discipline. Okay, faith, and I will read it in English first. Faith and ethics, learning, bounteousness, a flawless sense of shame and decency, and wisdom are the seven riches Buddha taught. No other common riches have no worth. In Tibetan, 대단 수준 표현 동안다 지명 모자 셔단 제요다 셔럼 너류 라버 투베송 노르셴 펠바 테마 치토 즈스. Yeah. So I will read it in Tibetan. Maybe it makes more sense than in English. So here it says faith, ethic, learning, bounteousness, flawless sense of shame and decency, and wisdom. Right. So faith is devotion. Okay, devotion to the triple gem, to your teacher, etc. That is faith. Ethics is basically discipline. So having a sense of discipline, sense of ethic, doesn't matter what people think, but you have your own ethic. If even nobody is watching, you go by your own discipline. You go by your own ethic. That is ethic or that is discipline. And learning is not talking about degree, this degree or not. You don't have a degree or diploma or degree. That's not what it is about. It is about a sense of learning that you must always learn, always be ready to learn. When do you stop learning? Once you become Buddha, you will stop learning. Or when you become totally arrogant, right? You think you know everything, then you stop learning. If you think you know everything and you don't know, then you will be in big trouble. So learning is being open to different information, different knowledge, all sort of different ideas. That is learning. Bounteousness is basically it's type of generosity, to give. What you have, plenty. If you don't have, of course, you need to eat. You need to, the money. You need to have. You need to eat food. You need to have a house. All these things. But if you have more than what you need, then you must share. Because you can't sleep on two beds. You can't sleep in two houses, etc. So therefore, that is the first line: faith, ethics, learning, and bounteousness. Then second line, next line is a flawless sense of shame and decency. So shame and decency, I don't know the exact meaning in English, but in Tibetan, the term used is ngotsawa and teryuba. So the meaning here is basically this. Shame and decency is actually the same thing, but it's derived from two different sources. When you act on something because thinking for yourself or derived thinking for yourself, that is called shame. If you do it because due to others, it's called decency. So for example, stealing. Okay, nobody is looking. You're going to steal something. You saw an opportunity to steal something or lie, and you lie, or then you think, oh, I shouldn't be lying. I shouldn't be doing something like that. You tell yourself. You put yourself as the witness. Okay, you bring yourself as the witness and tell yourself not to do this. I should not be lying. I should not be stealing. That is shame. Shame means to put yourself as the witness. Decency means putting or bringing others as a witness. So you are about to steal, and you are not sure if someone has put a CC camera somewhere here, or maybe they will find out about me later. So you don't steal. Oh, if I steal today, maybe they will find out. And if they find out that I am a thief, then I will be, people will start losing respect for me and all these things. So when you use others as a witness and then refrain from doing something improper, that is called shame. Sorry. indecent, or that's called decency. If you totally neglect that, then it is indecency. I don't care if anybody finds out. I don't care if they find out that I'm lying. I'm going to lie. I'm going to cheat. That is indecency. Or if you think, oh, people will find out, so I should not lie, I should not cheat, that is called decency. If you say, oh, I should not be lying because I'm a monk or I am a Buddhist follower of Buddha Dharma, blah, 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 like that. If you put yourself as the witness, it's called shame. If you put others as a witness, that is called decency. So that is the difference we put between decency and shame. Where are we now? Okay. So this is called the seven qualities. I think more properly in seven qualities in English. In Tibetan, we call it seven wealth, because this is like because when you are wealthy, you can flaunt your wealth, right? If you are rich, rich people show off, flaunt. So if you have these qualities, these seven qualities, then you can flaunt them. So anyway, the seven riches or the seven wealth. So in Tibetan, when we write the name of some of our masters, a lot of time our masters, in front of our master's name, we draw a number 7. I mean, some of you are familiar with Tibetan handwriting, some of you may not be. So the reason why we have that number 7 in front of some of the revered masters, the great teachers, is because it is said, it is insinuated that our teacher, whoever that may be, let's, for example, say His Holiness, we put the number 7 in front of His Holiness name in Tibetan. The reason we put it there is because it is said, it is showing that it is like the status, okay, that His Holiness possesses these 7 qualities or 7 riches or 7 wealth. And it's quite common to put the number 7 in front of our teachers or some of the great masters name. Before their name, we put that number 7. It's tradition. It's in the Tibetan tradition like that. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yeah, rinpoche lah.
Yeah, so it's looked like this. So it looks like a bird flying. This is number 7 in Tibetan. Okay. So it's like, yeah, it starts like a number 2, and then it goes up like that. So this is
Yeah.
number 7 in Tibetan. It's like a Western
Yeah.
number 2, and then it goes up like that.
Yeah.
So in front of
Yeah.
many of the teachers' name, you will see that thing. Yeah, so it's like number 2, and then one, like a feather, bird's feather. Number 2, and long feather. Should you never close the whiteboard? Okay. Okay. So back to where we are. Okay. The 7 riches. Oh, okay. Now next is something that you should be avoiding. Let's check the time. Okay, so this will be the last verse. Verse
Yeah.
number 33. Verse
Yeah.
number 33, Tibetan. Gebo gedan dula tawa da lelo digbe tola temba da changda tsemo gyo nyen song chawa nyambar gyo te tu pangs. So as a king, you should be careful, cautious of these 6 things. So 7 things that you should adopt, the 7 riches you should adopt. Then there are 6 vices, 6 negative things that you should be avoiding. And that is gambling, public spectacles. I will explain what that means and shows. Indolence, basically vanity, bad company, strong drink, night prowls, that basically it means to go out hunting for women. These 6 will lead to lower realms, and not just to the lower realm in the future lifetime, but in this lifetime too. As a king, if you become addicted to these 6 things, as once in a while, as a king, as a you do have to do that sometime. But if you get addicted to these 6 things, then they will not only bring you to lower realm in the future, but in this lifetime also, it will bring you, give you bad name. it will spoil, it will ruin your reputation. So therefore, you should give these things up. The first thing is gambling. So first thing is gambling. So there are many story of great Indian kings, especially like great in the Indian mythology. Most of them are actually, I mean, they're all Hindu kings, but the king who lost their kingdom due to their how to say addiction, if you like, for gambling. So they gamble and gamble, and they gamble their wives, children, and then they gamble their kingdom, and then they, because of their then they lose the kingdom, and then they were banished, kicked out from their own kingdom, have to live in the forest for 12 years, 40 years for their life, etc. So many kings in Indian history, 3,000, 4,000, 6,000 years history, so many kingdoms, civilization has gone into ruins because the king is into gambling. So therefore, the first thing as a king, Gautamaputra, you should be wary of this thing, because once you get addicted to gambling, then you can bring everything to ruin. So therefore, you should be very careful when you gamble. Public spectacles and shows. Basically, that means entertainment. So today's time, it can be cell phones, or back in the day, in the 80s, 90s, it's the television. It's called the idiot box. So everybody is like glued to the television. Now everybody is glued to the cell phone, etc. So basically, those days, there is a public entertainment, performance in the street, or beautiful dancers coming to the court of the king. So they dance, they offer, they perform different operas, and the kings give them with gift, etc. So by doing so, the king becomes so much distracted. Then they get distracted from public affairs. They get distracted from running the country, etc. So therefore, it's the same. You're talking about king, but in our day-to-day lifetime too, if we get this kind of distraction, we will not be able to achieve. We will not be able to go forward. Did I turn off the mic? Okay, my next one. So the next, indolence. Basically, it's being lazy, not working, etc. Because you are a king, you have all the wealth, so you have the servant, everything, and so therefore you lack the motivation to do something. Right? That's very dangerous. So you must always find something to motivate yourself. Always important to find a purpose. So in today's time, because the world in general is, especially in the Western civilization, things are advancing at least materialistically. So therefore, people are, getting all the materialistic things are there, and then people are lacking in motivation. And therefore, nowadays there's something called there's a very popular book from a Japanese book called Ikigai. I don't know if it's a Japanese book or not, but it's based on a Japanese idea called Ikigai. So Ikigai is basically to find a purpose. And I forgot who the writer was, but the book became very popular. So Ikigai in Japanese means to find a purpose. If you lack in purpose, and this is what usually in most of the advanced countries, this is called a midlife crisis. So you have reached to a certain part of your life, and you have done this and that, and you also know that you may not be able to do more than that. So basically, you are kind of stuck. You're not going to rule the world. You are not too bad. You're not too good. Basically, you are just a very average person, and you kind of lose your motivation to do anything, because whatever you do is not going to make much change, because you are just a single person. So lack of motivation, lack of purpose, that is something very harmful for growth, for advancement. So here we are talking about King Gautamaputra, who is a king, and we are talking about the growth of a kingdom. But this is applicable to each one of us in our spiritual life, in our personal life, in our family life, relationship, everything. We have to have a purpose, find a purpose, the Ikigai, the purpose, so that will drive us. Even when we are 80 years old, 90 years old, we still have that drive. We still have that, sense of purpose. So word is, what is the English word? Indolence. Basically means finding no purpose. Because you are a king, you have everything. So there's no need. You are no longer motivated. You don't want to do anything. That is very dangerous for yourself, the king, and the kingdom. So you must find some purpose and do something for the people, for your future, for your legacy, whatever you call it. Then bad company, of course, that's not too hard to understand. Bad company, then intoxicants like alcohol, drugs, etc. So once you are, what you think is, okay, I'm going to try this. Let's say some of the intoxicants, you say, okay, I'm going to try this, and let's see how it goes. And everybody thinks they are very, we all think we are winners. None of us think we are loser. So we think like, okay, it affects other people, but it will not affect me. I can control myself. So you decide, you give into one of those vices, those flaws, like taking intoxicant, different kind of substances like that. And then one time, two time, then you are under the influence of those substances. The same thing with friends. You think, okay, I will go with that friend. He may have bad habit or whatever. I am a winner. I can control myself. This friend will not be able to affect me negatively. But what happens is you go with him one time, two time, three time. Slowly, his negative habit, his bad habits catch up on with you. Because when you have to go with someone at all time, you cannot disagree with them every time, right? So then one say, okay, he say, take this, and you take it just one time, just one sip, just one shot, and then you are hooked, right? So therefore, these are dangerous things. And the last one, night prowl, basically it means womanizing. So basically, as a king, usually kings have courtesans, right? Like many consorts, many wives, and so that is the norm during those days. But if you get how do you call that? If you end up with all those women, all those consort, all those wife, and then you will neglect the affairs of the kingdom. You will neglect your kingdom, your subject, everybody, and then your kingdom will go to ruin. So therefore, it's important to be cautious about those three things: womanizing, intoxicants like substances, and bad influence, bad friends. Okay, so I will conclude the class here for today. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. One question is there. Please explain the connection between the purpose of life and emptiness. Wow. Okay. Okay. So the first question is that the connection between purpose of life and emptiness. Okay. So that's the question. I'll try to answer that. So emptiness or understanding emptiness is the key thing, is the main sort of goal as a practitioner. When we meditate, we have many types of meditation on this, compassion, etc. But the main point is to understand the reality, emptiness. Okay, and emptiness or understanding of emptiness or the realization of emptiness is emptiness. I'm not sure if you are aware of this or not. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. Emptiness does not mean empty. Emptiness does not mean there is nothing there. It is not, emptiness does not mean void. Okay, this is the first thing you have to understand. Yeah. Main thing to understand is emptiness is nothing. Everything is empty of an independent existence. That means nothing is independently arising or nothing is independently existing. Everything that you see in this world, relationship, kingdoms, countries, business, finance, economy, especially economy, if you look at today's economy, you can see very clearly everything is interdependent, related to each other, dependent on each other. One cannot survive without the other. Without the customer, there is no sale for the businessman. Without the businessman, there is nothing to buy for the customer. Customer is dependent on so they're dependent on each other. Everything is interdependent. Okay, so the same goes with the Emptiness means nothing is independent. Everything is empty or free from being an independent entity. Nothing is independent. Everything is interdependent. That is the main, that is the idea of emptiness. So bringing this into your life. So what is the purpose of life and emptiness? That's the question, right? So understanding that means you will be able to apply this in your life, then everything is related, everything is connected. Then everything good, everything bad, whatever happens in your life, you will be able to make a connection. You will be able to interpret it in a way that is helpful and beneficial for you. Otherwise, something bad happens. Oh my God! Like everybody thinks when something bad happens, you are the only one who the bad thing happens. And something good happens, you are so excited. Oh my God, I am the king of the world. Both are wrong. You are not the only person who is suffering in this world. Everybody in the world, 7 billion people, everybody in the world is suffering at one point of time. You are so happy, nothing special about you. Everybody is very happy at one point of time in their life. So you are nothing special. And nobody is special. Because of that, everybody is connected. Okay. Next question is, these type of ethical standards were for a king many thousands of years ago. Why are these same types of ethical codes still relevant today? And the very simple reason is because we still have the same emotion. Because we still have the same emotion, we still fall into the same trap. We still have lust, we still have anger, we still have attachment, we still have ego. We are still the victim of all those negative emotions that we used to have 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, maybe 10 million years ago. Whatever emotions we have, maybe the emotion actually has become more sophisticated because we become with the modern infrastructure, with the modern information age, we can learn so many things. We become better in disguising, okay, covering up our flaws as our strength. What we say nowadays, a lot of people say anger is good because anger gives you strength. If you are angry, you can fight an enemy that is 2 times stronger than you. Without anger, you cannot. They say, okay, drinking alcohol is good because if you drink alcohol, it gives you a sense of courage. Even though it's a false sense of courage, it gives you the courage to fight. That's why people, when they are drunk, they fight this and that. So we are become so good in disguising, covering up our flaws, our negative emotions that we used to have 10,000 years ago. We still have them. None of the problem that we used to have emotionally 1,000 years ago, none of them has gone. You learn something, you die, you forget everything. You have to learn everything again. So all those emotions are still there. Therefore, all those ethical codes are still relevant today. And not just that, we become so good, okay, in packaging, covering those flaws as our strength. So therefore, we need those teachings more than ever. That's what I used to tell all the time, especially when I go to a place to teach at a place where they're not Buddhist. Then I say, what I'm talking to you is something what the Buddha said 2,500, 600 years ago. You may think it's irrelevant, but it is relevant because none of the emotions that the Buddha was addressing has changed at all. Anger, attachment, jealousy, ego, everything is still there within us. Therefore, we need those guidelines, those books, the teaching. So therefore, the ethical codes are still relevant. That's why. So thank you so much for the questions and everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate for your interest. I also wanted to share a little bit of prayer, nothing specific, but in general, I want to end this class with some short prayer. So the prayer is dedicated to Tara, okay? So 21 Tara, prayers to the 21 Tara. I will do the short version, the contents version. So please think of your loved ones and the stranger Everybody suffering in this world, people who have passed away, who are sick, all of them, pray for them. Om je zu ma 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 je ma la cha ze lo chan ze ju ma da re ba mo do da ra ye ji gun se ma tu re de na ma tam je de re ma so wa yi ye chen la ra de Om je zu ma pa ma ju ma la cha ze lo Chang ze zhe ma da re ba mo do da ra ye ji gu se ma do re de na ma tam je de re ma so wa yi ye chen la ra em de Om je zhe ma pa ma zhe ma la cha ze lo Chang ze zhe ma da re ba mo do da ra ye ji gu se ma do re de na ma tam je de re ma so wa yi ye chen la ra em de Om je zhe ma pa ma zhe ma la cha ze lo Chang ze zhe ma da re ba mo do da ra ye ji gun se le ma do re de na ma tam je de re ma so wa yi ye chen la ra em de Om je zu ma pa ma zhe ma la cha ze lo Chang ze zhe ma da re ba mo do da ra ye ji gun se ma do re de na ma tam je de re ma so wa yi ye chen la Ram de om tare tu tare tu re so ha om tare tu tare tu re so 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 Om dare du dare du re so, om dare du dare du re so, ha, om dare du dare du re so, ha. Okay, now dedication, please.
Could Rinpoche share the prayer to the chat box, please? So can we chant that prayer?
This one? The thing
Yeah.
is, okay, I will share the link because I don't have
Yeah.
okay. This one,
Yeah.
the PDF does not work for some reason, so I will share the link
Yeah.
to this prayer, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, the story goes, I think I've told this story many times, but Atisha was very sick, and then he has to do 100,000 tara, the praise to 21 tara. He has to do it 100,000 times overnight in one night. And of course, it's almost impossible to do that. And then when he's still doing that, he was doing the long one. And then Tara, Green Tara, appeared before him and then said, my son, I know you are very dedicated toward all that. So therefore, I will give you like a gift shortcut so that you can just recite this one. And then it is equivalent to reciting the praise to the 21 tara, the long one. It's basically, if you recite the mantra, it has each line, it's basically only four lines, one verse, right? 4 lines. Each verse starts and ends. Each verse starts and ends with the Tara mantra. Om ta re tu re so ha. It's all there. So therefore, when you recite one verse, you are also reciting one Om ta re tu re so ha as well. It's very powerful. It's spoken by Tara herself to Atisha. And those of you who have deep devotion, faith, then it will be the same benefit as reciting the long one. So I have sent two links. One is the one we just saw. The last one I just sent. This is a link to the PDF. Okay, it also has translation in different languages. I don't know how many languages, but in several languages it has the translation, and you can download it as a PDF, and then keep as a book. Okay, dedication, please. No. Gewan de ye nyurdo dan lama sange chugyuron Rowa che nyama lumba kege sala go parasho Ichancho semcho rembo Manye banama ge gyuro je keba nyamba me barai Kone gondo Bewara joy me ve tere chen chen je si te me I can be I wine boy chan be yang de boy ma lu jo man ze sang we da kan jen ken ben zo gen zong gan ba Lo sein Tag beschreib lai so one day. Lo sein Tag beschreib lai so one day. Tembe nyingbo zimbe benga shin naman do gyu gun lan chan chun. Lo san chu ge nyam zu chu gun do jenge jo jen dambaran so wa.
Thank you, Ziwachela.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.